Hello friends, welcome back to another coding session. This time we won't work on the ray tracer actually. There has been some time since I've worked on this series and I'm still hoping to have some time in the future to do another session of those and develop the ray tracer a little bit further. But for now I wanted to do something a little bit different. In the last couple of days I've been working on an ePaper display, the Inkplate 6 color from solderedcom, they are called now. Before they were called eRadionica. It's essentially a 6 color ACEP ePaper, which is combined with a ESP32 controller, microcontroller. And yeah, I've already a lot of different ePapers around the house here and a lot of different microcontrollers. Most of them are ESP microcontrollers, but there are Arduinos as well and stuff like that. And what I was trying to do with the 6.6 color ePaper was I wanted to see what happens if I dither an image with those 6 colors properly, maybe implement different algorithms and check them out and see what works best. And then display some image with it randomly. And I've already done this before by combining an ACEP ePaper directly with all the different hardware myself, but this Inkplate thingy now has everything integrated on one board, which is quite nice. And I wanted to do something different with it. And the last time I've been playing around with StableDiffusion quite a lot. StableDiffusion is an AI system which is capable of, so it's a neural net basically, which is capable of generating art if you give it a certain prompt. So if you tell it like, I want this one, I want for example a robot in a star field in something, and so on and so on. It will generate an image, a completely new one, and it will give it to you and you have a new image, and it works quite amazingly. And there is this search engine. Let me make this this here a little bit bigger by just, yeah, so there is there is this search engine for this kinds of generated images called Lexica. And Lexica is a quite nice thing which can be used to search all kinds of AI generated images. And all of those images you are currently seeing here are completely AI generated. And what you can do now is you can, for example, click this one and then you can see the prompt which was used to generate this image. In this case, hyper-realistic painting of an empty suit of rusty full-plate armor animated by magic. Dark fantasy, fantasy armor, hyper-detailed by Greg Rutkowski, trending on ArtStation. So there are different versions which came out when using this prompt, and all of those are AI generated. And the nice thing about this is that the images and prompts are already here. So usually you would use this to get inspired by how you would need to write a specific prompt in order to get a specific result out of the StableDiffusion engine. But we want to use it, or especially its API, to just retrieve a random image every time we want to update our ePaper. By the way, I guess I will have blended in post-production now images of the ePaper already. If I've not done so, I will do it quite right now. And what I have already done is I actually did all of that already. So I implemented, let's see, I implemented a little Rust project here which fetches the image and then it dithers it and does some interesting stuff with it and gives out in the end. There's the dithering algorithm. I implemented different dithering matrices and tried with different colors and stuff like that. And in the end, it's a web server which is running, and it's using Rocket. And this web server then can give us, can fetch the random image and can give it to us. Let's see, let me quickly run it. Could not find cargo toml in, yeah, because I'm in the wrong directory. So yeah, there are a lot of warnings because I quickly hacked this together. I did it off camera because I just had some free days and was hacking away on it. And then later on I realized it would have been a nice idea to show this. But we can actually follow along now with the things I want to add to it here. So let me quickly open up the resulting and started web server here. So localhost 8000. And I never can remember the route. These are the routes that the firmware I have for the ESP32, which is running in the Inkplate, I've written this as well, will request and get a dithered image of directly encoded in a binary format that I can decode there and then display. But I have, no, not Inkplate, I have integrated a version to get a dithered PNG version out of it. So as you can see, this is something that was now randomly fetched from Lexica. I can refresh to get something else, and another one maybe, and it is then dithered and yeah, maybe, and is then dithered and then directly displayed here. And as you can see, using dithering, even with 6 colors, it's 7 colors. Sorry, it is actually really nice. It's very colorful and it's working out very interestingly. Let's stop here with this nice cat image. And what I'm doing as well is I am storing those images in a SQLite database. Together with the fetched metadata information, just to have some sort of history, and like I can see what happened there and what was shown if I'm passing the image and saying, oh, this is an amazing image, I want to have it in the full image size, and want to take a look at it, for example, not dithered, but yeah, I want to have it, then I have it stored in this database and can actually access it. And what I wanted to do now is I want to create some sort of web UI for this to access this history, to access maybe certain options, because currently it is the way that the system is fetching. Where's the Inkplate code? This system is fetching like the image every 900 seconds, so every 15 minutes the image is updated. And what I want to do is I want to make this configurable from the server side. So every 15 minutes the ESP is waking up and it's requesting the web server. So I thought it might be able to request the web server and then get information like, when should I actually display the next one? How long should I sleep until the next iteration? Something like this. This would allow me to, for example, configure it to not do updates between a certain time span, maybe in the night when I'm sleeping, because that would preserve battery life of the ePaper, because I've installed it in a picture frame, in a nice one, and therefore it is battery powered because it's hanging on the wall. And this would conserve battery. And we may be able to configure other stuff as well. And in the future, I might want to add a second ePaper display just below it, which will then display the prompt. Or we could decide to incorporate the prompt maybe into the image or something like that and display it on the bottom border or stuff like that. So what we want to do is we want to create some sort of web front-end UI for it for now. And as I've recently seen the videos of Chris Biscardi regarding Yew, and I always wanted to try out Yew, even though I'm not familiar with it at all. I'm usually using the more known web frameworks using JavaScript and TypeScript and not Rust. But I wanted to play around with it. I decided, yeah, this is a Rust project, so why not write this front end in Yew, or at least take a look at writing this front end in Yew. And this is actually what we want to go and do now. So let me quickly close all this up, and let's maybe start by taking a look at, I have already, didn't I have it open already? No, I did not. So let's maybe just Yew Rust. What is Yew? Yes. So let's take a look. Yew is basically, by the way, is a web framework which you can use and create a web application in Rust with. So you do not write JavaScript. It's a front-end application framework. So you'd write a front-end application in Rust, and it's then compiled to WebAssembly. And once it's compiled to WebAssembly, it will automatically create your front-end application in the browser. So it's a complete package to more or less create all the different WASM bindings and stuff like that, and to more or less work with the DOM then from Rust code, which is compiled to WebAssembly. So I'm not sure how much I will like this, but yeah, I thought I'd give it a try. So let's see. Tutorial. They have a tutorial. They are using Trunk. I've already opened up the web page of Trunk. I've not done any further research here. I've just opened up all the different websites, the other thing I have open here is getting started with Tailwind CSS, because Tailwind I have never used as well. It's a CSS framework which does things a little bit differently than a lot of other CSS frameworks around there, and I've not used that before as well. I've always wanted to play around with it, so I guess we will take a look at this then as well, and we'll try to incorporate it. But first, let's start with Yew, which, as I've said, uses Trunk, and Trunk is something like a WebAssembly front-end application builder system for Rust. So let's install Trunk, I guess. Okay, let's first of all stop the web server, and then, yeah, let's do what they say. Let's cargo install Trunk. I already have Trunk installed. Interesting. I can't remember when I did that, but okay. So maybe I did that when playing around with my... Oh yeah, I was trying to play around with Trunk for my raytracer to WebAssembly project. So if you are new to the channel, just a quick demo section here, raytracer.xyz. If you are new to the channel, you will maybe not know this one. I'm usually writing, or a big series on this channel was writing a raytracer in Rust. And this is actually a raytracer I've written from scratch. You can see all the videos where you can follow me along. Let's zoom out a little so that you can see it here better. Where you can, this is then a web shell which actually uses the Rust raytracer, which I've compiled to WebAssembly, and compiled to WebAssembly, this thing here then runs in the browser. So if you're interested in this, you can just visit raytracer.xyz, and you have this web shell there. You can play around with it. You can, for example, change, I don't know, the floor color or something like that, and then it will be differently. Or you can obviously change the whole scene there. And if you are interested in this, the full source code is of course available, and the YouTube videos are available on my channel. So if you're interested, check this out. So that is why I had Trunk installed. I had Trunk installed because I was playing around with using Trunk to build this web shell here for me, in order to change the release cycle there a bit, because until now I was using wasm bindgen and doing a lot of things manually. But yeah, I might use Trunk there in the future. I think I didn't got very far, but I played around with it. That's why it was installed. So that just as a short intermezzo there. So let's go back to setting up the Yew system here. So we already have the wasm target installed. I'm sure about that because I use it for my other project. So let's see, setting up the project. Cargo new Yeah, so we are just creating a new cargo app. So let's do it, call it front end, maybe, I guess. Okay, so yeah, okay, but okay, let's just run it, but it will run. I'm pretty sure it will. Yes. Okay, that would have it would have been very strange. But let's change the name here. It's called Inkplate. No, Lexica Inkplate front end, because the other one is called Lexica Inkplate server for now. Maybe we will change that in the future. I don't know, but so yes, our first static page. This sounds good. So we are just adding the Yew dependency. So let's do that. Since it's possible to do that in recent Rust versions with cargo, I like to do cargo add for dependency adding, because then it will automatically enter the right version there, and I can see the features which I may have disabled and might enable and stuff like that. So okay, now we have installed Yew. Okay, and there we go with a basic Q application, I guess. So let's close the shell here. Let's go into our source main, and let's simply replace this with the Q code here. So okay, so let's take a quick look. We are including the prelude. By the way, if you are new to Rust, prelude is something that I'm seeing quite recently lately, more recently than before. It was done for quite some time, but I'm seeing it more and more. It's just like the developers of the package decided to put certain exports explicitly into this prelude package. The most common exports of sorts, what you need to get this library running that we have there. In this case, Yew, prelude, and it will obviously include then something like this macro here, which is function component, or this HTML type, or this HTML macro, and yeah. So let's see. This looks to me like a React-ish or modern web framework like function component, which is simply a function which then in turn gives back HTML, which should be rendered to the DOM. Usually it's using some sort of syntax for sort of virtual DOM in the JavaScript world. I have no idea how Yew does this internally. I don't want to know at this point. But yeah, it seems to be very, very much the same. Obviously, we have to include any other expressions than those tags, it seems, in curly braces. So we are just creating a heading with hello world there. Okay, and then the main function is nothing more than just starting up the application. Yeah, okay. Seems reasonably simply enough. Okay, the next step is now let's create an index HTML at the root of the project. So maybe we will do that. New file at the root. Do they mean at the root as in within the source, or at the root as in really the root? Intuitively, I would have interpreted root as the really root, even though I don't really like the position, but maybe we can configure it later on if this is really the case. So let's just put this HTML, this minimal HTML document in here, and just to not make me nervous, let's remove this space there, which they have in there between head. Okay, so this seems to be everything to be done before starting up. So now let's do a trunk serve, I guess. Trunk serve. Okay, it seems to be building now. Let's see. Yew. Okay, server listening at port 8000. So wait, I had this one here at 8000 as well. So let's just remove this and load. Unable to connect. Wait, what? Server listening at 8080. Yeah, the ones who can read are clearly... Okay, nice. So we have, let me maybe somehow put this, where could I put this inspector that you can see it better? Okay, maybe just scroll up here a little bit. So, okay, what we have now here is our dynamically rendered H1. That's nice. We have our hello world. So let's see, does it support something like auto reloading? If it's running here, I guess it will, but let's see. Okay, that's nice. It does auto rebuilding and then even auto refreshes the page. Okay, we can work with that. Okay, this was actually easy enough. Do they have anything else here? Congratulations, building HTML, procedural macros. Yeah, converting classic HTML. Let's maybe quickly skim over this. Yeah, the HTML macro. Yeah, and as I've said, expressions must be wrapped in curly braces. I guessed as much. What would be interesting is if we need to wrap attributes as well. There must only be one root node. Oh, okay. So they have this empty fragment thingy here as well, as the same as in, for example, React, where you can only return one. Even though I'm not quite sure this is actually still the case in React. I guess you can return more than one element now, since quite some time in React. But it was in the beginning. So let's see. Empty fragment, elements must be closed properly. Yeah, of course. So let's maybe take a look at this example. Okay, that is what we have here as a normal HTML, and it would look like this in the HTML macro. Okay, so we don't need to put the attributes in curly braces. But I guess if we are doing something like injecting dynamic information there, we will need to do that, but we will see. And okay, but everything else, it looks quite straightforward, I guess. So let's maybe just for fun do something like create such a fragment here and create another H2, like maybe we can even have something like let's call it quote of the day. Oh no, quote of the day, and let's maybe close this shell there because it makes me nervous if it's recompiling. We need to somehow see if we can change this auto-saving rule so that it doesn't recompile so much. Let quote of the day much Yew much HTML so much I have no idea. So, and now let's try, like, can we reference this here? I hope we can. I would assume we can. So now let's see, go back to our, yeah, okay. So now we have two entries, and this one here is, does it format? Wait, there is no formatter for Rust installed. This does not make any sense. Wait. Something is format document. Wait, what? Okay, sorry. I had to investigate here why I can't format my documents anymore. Was kind of strange, actually. But I've now found out there was something strange, and I restarted Visual Code, and now Visual Studio Code, and now it's working again. Because I wanted to know if there is a way to format this stuff, but it seems there is no auto formatting support for that yet. Maybe there will be some in the future. I have no idea. What did I do now? I've just Yes, let's, yeah. So not sure about this, but we will see, I guess, in the future. So let me quickly go back here and do a trunk surf again so that we can see what's, oh, I need to go into the front end folder and then do a trunk surf, and then let's actually ensure this is still working. It works, and as far as I can see, if I take a look at network, it should now actually fetch, yes, a WebAssembly module, which is, whoa, 1.09 megabytes. I'm interested. Is there something like release? Okay, there is. Let's quickly build this. I just want to know actually what size this WebAssembly will have in release mode, because 1.1 megabytes for a Hello World application seems a lot to me. So, okay, now we have 214 kilobytes. Yeah, that's, but let's hope that most of the Yew framework is already in there. Maybe we can even further work with this or optimize it. But yeah, I'm okay with that. And it's 19 kilobyte JavaScript. Yeah, this will be all the binding code, I guess. Okay, so, but we don't want release mode for now. So let's just serve this version here, and then there is this working. Okay, I like it. So now, what would be the next step? We have Yew working here. So we need to figure out how to include Tailwind. And Tailwind is, as I've said, it's a quite opinionated CSS framework, one where different people have different opinions to, very strong ones actually, and I'm still not convinced this is the best way to do it, because you will actually have a lot of different class thingies there, and you won't really use CSS in the way that CSS is normally used. So let's see, you are more or less defining all your different styles and stuff within CSS classes, and then a Tailwind compiler is, as far as I've understood it, extracts all those classes and builds an optimized CSS version for you. It actually only really makes sense to use this in combination with a component framework like, for example, Rust or Yew or Vue or Angular or anything else, where you can actually reuse create and reuse components with those informations, because otherwise you would copy and paste all of this styling over and over and over. And yeah, but I've never used it before. I've only seen it used by others. I've heard talks about it. I've talked about this with other people who use it, but I've never used it. And this is why I wanted to try it out. So let's see how we can integrate this one into our process here. And as far as I can see, there is, on the one side is this getting started with Tailwind CSS. It's completely independent of a framework. It's just like, how do you create the CSS stuff and have the Tailwind CSS application create the optimized CSS for you. And then I've already just Googled Yew and CSS, and I found this article. And I've just skimmed it, but it seems quite interesting. I'm not 100% sure that this is still the right version of Tailwind, because the article is from 2021, and so most likely something will have changed. But I guess we can try and combine those two articles here and try to get something up and running here, because what I found in here, it seems, is this configuration which seems quite nice, which has all of the different includes for this extraction going on. But on the other hand, they are actually only setting up, as far as I can see, the same Tailwind CSS module. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe let's just follow the current installation guide here, and let's switch over to the other one as we need it. Okay, so then let's let's try that, I guess. First of all, as Tailwind CSS is a thing which is available. It's, as far as I know, the command line tool is written in TypeScript, and so it's distributed via npm. So let's, yeah, I guess then I will have, as I always have, I want a new file here. I want touch.nvmrc. And what's the current LTS Node version? I guess Node.js v18 is now LTS. Yes, it is. Okay, nice. So let's just set that we want v0.18 here. Is it with a v in front? We will see. And now let's tell nvm to install. Okay, so it's just 0.18 without the v. It's not. Interesting. nvm ls remote. I haven't done this in quite some time. Okay, it is with a v in front. So why is it not? Oh! It's not 0.18 anymore. It's v18. I see. So we want the latest. Okay, now this is working. So NVM is just the node version manager. It's kind of a thing where you can put an NVMRC file into your project, and it tells the system which node version you need, and then it will automatically activate this one and even install it, as you can see here what it just did, because it didn't have this version ready. So now we should have npm here. Okay, we now have npm here. That is nice. So now let's okay, they want us to install it as a global dependency. Or is it? What does -d do? Npm help. Npm, we need install -help. -d. Is there a big dry run? Okay. Interesting. It's not part of this, or I don't see it. I have no idea what -d does actually. But let's just do an npm init, and let's Lexica Inkplate front end. Let's quickly create some sort of package.json file. Yes, and now we can do an npm install -save-dev. Actually, maybe capitalized D is save-dev. I have no idea. Tailwind CSS. Let's install this command line tool and let's see. Because I want to install it locally to the project, but they are using npx here, so I guess they are installing it locally to the project as well. So now we have those package log and package.json files in here. Yeah, it's getting a little bit cluttered, but yeah, okay, we will see. And we have this node modules thingy here. Maybe we need other JavaScript modules in the future. I don't know. And now they are telling us to do npx tailwind CSS init, I guess. Okay, so it now created. Okay, it now created this config file for us. Okay, that's quite nice actually. Add tailwind directives to your CSS. So maybe we should now add those contents. Seems to have this this file masks here. So maybe we will take those out of here, I guess. So let's just put that in there, format it. So we are actually taking everything from Rust files. We are scanning the index HTML, we are scanning HTML files, and we are scanning CSS files in source. Why would we have CSS files in source? Okay, no idea, but yeah. Yeah, and this structure here is kind of different. Purge mode all, but this might be something that has changed in the meantime. Maybe we will try it like this. And then add the tailwind directives to your CSS. Wait, what? Tailwind directive for each of Tailwind's layers to your main CSS file. Run the CLI to scan your template files for classes and build your CSS. Okay, we need some sort of input Tailwind thingy. Okay. Okay, for now, let's maybe just create a folder here and call it static. Oops, I didn't want to create a file. I wanted to create a folder. New folder, static. And we will put this input.c, or let's call it tailwind input, because I don't like the idea of mixing it up with other things. So let's put those in there. Unknown rule, yeah. I guess this one will be parsed then by the tool or something like this. Okay, and then let's... okay, so now let's see. If this actually works, then we should be able to do something like npx tailwind CSS -i static tailwind input out, maybe static tailwind.css, and we don't need the watch for now. Let's just see. Okay, warn, no utility classes were detected in your source files. If this is unexpected, double check the content option in your... Yeah, okay, we don't use Tailwind yet. So what did it create? Is this Tailwind CSS? So it created, it seems, some sort of base Tailwind configuration. Yeah. Okay, so... Okay. So how big is this file? It can't be that big. Yeah, I should have included an LAH. So it's about 11 kilobytes. That's okay for a basic CSS setup. So yeah, it seems to generate stuff. Now let's check if it would generate something like... Do they have an example here? Something like, that's perfect. Text 3XL, font bold, underline. So those are, and those are not in here right now, are they? Text 3XL. Okay, this class is not within the Tailwind CSS currently. So let's get this down here. So let's simply change maybe this one here to now have those classes. And now we are regenerating the file. Okay, rebuilding. And now let's check. Oh, nice. Okay, it automatically added those stylings there, the ones that we need. So we have now text 3XL, font bold, and underline in there. Okay, that worked. Oh, that's actually quite nice. And yeah, okay. So we have the basic setup, but now we need to load this style sheet somehow, this generated one. Can we just do something like, what is it, link rel style sheet source, no, not source, it's href, static tailwind.css. Can we do something like that? Let me just quickly check if this... wait, where is our trunk serve? Let's start this one up. Okay, so this did not work, but it has this one in here. The question is, can it access this at all? Because... no, it can't. Okay. So we somehow have to tell it most likely where this static thing is or something like that. Does trunk have any application configuration stuff? Because I would assume that this is a trunk thingy. Configuration, trunk toml. Trunk supports an optional trunk toml config file. An example config file is included in the trunk repo. Okay, let's check. So can we do, we have the target there, release mode, dist, public URL from which assets are to be served. Watch configuration, serve configuration, clean, tools, proxy. Oh yeah, I remember you can actually configure proxies to other backends and so for developments. That's quite nice. And there seems to be the possibility to have hooks. We may need to take a look at this for including Tailwind later on. Okay, so far I don't see anything here which has something like there is a static directory which we can use. So maybe this is not the right thing. Configuration, environment variables, CLI, proxy, config file, assets maybe. Declaring assets to be processed by trunk is simple and extensible. Trunk is still a very and so on. Link asset types. Wait, what? All link assets to be processed by trunk must follow these 3 rules. Must be declared as a valid HTML link tag. Okay. This seems interesting. We have this kind of stuff here. Must have the attribute data trunk. Okay. Data trunk. Error caused by unknown link data trunk attribute value rel style sheet. Please ensure the value is lowercase and is supported asset type. Okay. Maybe we should read on. Data trunk. Okay, but we don't need it. It's not a problem that we would need it in front, is it? Like, that would make no sense, but we never know. So, okay, it's the same error. Okay, so we can have Rust, rel Rust, compile specified cargo project as wasm and loaded. Oh, okay, that's nice. We can obviously, it seems we can have further configuration options here. We can have thus, but we don't want thus. We want just simple. Oh, there, CSS. Okay, rel CSS instead of rel style sheet. Let's see. Oh, okay. Did this work? Oh, yes, nice, it worked. So now we have included our CSS. Okay, so trunk uses this one as a kind of a complete config file. So everything that we do with trunk will need to be configured in this index.html. Okay, we need to keep this in mind. So now, if I'm doing something like, let's for example change this 3XL to 4XL, and let's have him rebuild. That, oh, of course, this is not working yet because we would need to have created or rendered. We would need to have this thing recreate the CSS file here. So wait a second, let's see. If I do a second shell here and I'm doing, what was it? npx, tailwind, CSS, static, and so on, and so on, and so on. I will have him regenerate this. And there was this watch flag, wasn't there? If I'm starting this, okay, then this works. So now there should be a 4XL and no 3XL anymore. Okay, so now if I do something like, wait, where are we? Main RSS here. So let's see. There are tailwind components. No, I want have a focus on utility fundamentals. There are certain. Do I need? Maybe I really do need components or what?
No, that is something you can buy from them. These are pre-made components based on Tailwind. What I want to do is layout there. Do we have something like, for example, what do I know, shadow or something like that? Box shadow effects, nice. So let's do shadow XL. Let's give it the shadow XL class, and let's see. So now he should rebuild, and then this one should rebuild, and then this one has a shadow. Yeah, doesn't look doesn't look very nice, but it now got a shadow. Nice. So this seems to work, but okay, this would be a possibility to use actually like this. But I actually would love to have trunk integrate this building thingy. Can we? Because before I have seen this where was it, hook stuff? No, was it configuration? And there was config file. No, we saw it in the config file, didn't we? Yeah, there, hooks. So this hook example shows example and so on, currently available fields, execute at the start of each build process. Okay, isn't there any documentation about that? There's proxy, no, assets, maybe, link assets, thus CSS, those other. Okay, we can obviously have something like a link command to copy files and directories. That's kind of strange, but maybe interesting in the future. Script assets. Okay, let's not, this is for obviously integrating some JavaScript stuff. Images and other resources, we will definitely use this later on. Hooks, nice. So hooks. Need an additional build action that isn't supported directly. Yeah. Trunk's flexible hook system. Stage required one of pre-build, build, or post-build is specified when in Trunk's build pipeline the hook is executed. Okay, so we give it a stage, command, and command arguments, it seems. And here are the build process. No. Step, what? This is a brief overview of Trunk's build process for the purpose of describing when hooks are executed. Please note that the exact ordering may change in the future to add new features. So read and pass the HTML file. Yeah, that's kind of its build manual. Produce a plan of all assets to be built. Build all assets in parallel. Okay. Finalize and write assets to the staging directory. Write HTML to the staging directory. Replace dist directory contents with staging directory contents. Okay. Ah, there. The hook stages correspond to this as follows. Pre-build takes place before step 1, so before it even reads the HTML file. Okay. Build takes place at the same time as step 3, executing in parallel with asset builds. So produce a plan of all assets to be built. Build all assets in parallel. So I guess this will already be too late because we need the Tailwind CSS output, the base output, to be there before Trunk can use it as an asset. And I guess post-build, yeah, that's okay. So we want to do something pre-build. Okay, and we can hook environment execution. Okay, std_in. Okay, there are certain environment variables there. Okay, and how do we configure hooks? Can we only do it via this? Okay, declared exclusively in trunk toml. Okay, so we need this trunk toml thingy here. So let's maybe take this example. View raw. Give me that file. So I will close this shell here. Yes, so that we have a little bit more place to work with here. So I wanted to download this trunk toml, and now let's take a look at this. And with the hopes, in hoping that this will actually have defaults, as it must have, because we we used it without this configuration. Let's maybe just remove those parts and all those proxy stuff and no hooks. Okay, so maybe remove that. We want one of those hooks. Let's remove the rest. So okay, so now what we have here, we have build information. That's kind of, we might want to change this in the future, as well as the serve configuration. That's why I've left it in here. This clean, maybe I don't want to take care about that. Let's just remove that. And let's hope that this builds. And let's maybe comment out this for now. And now let's try and have it trunk serve, and let's see if it's still working. So yeah, it is. Okay, so we didn't do something horribly wrong there. Okay, so now let's include those. Or maybe let's for now check if it's reading this at all. Maybe change this address to 8090 or something like that. And let's trunk serve, and now 8090. Okay, it's reading this file. That's a good thing there. So let's change it back. Okay, so now let's take a look at this hook. So we determined we need the pre-build stage, and the command would then be npx, I guess. I'm not sure if we need to execute this in a shell or something, but let's see. So what do we want to do? We want to execute npx. Let's bring up the command that we actually used here. So we had this tailwind CSS. So tailwind CSS, and then we need -i, and then we need static/tailwind input. Come on, input.css, and then -o, and then there's a comma missing. Tailwind. No, static.tailwind.css. That's it, isn't it? Let's format it. So npx tailwind CSS that's the input file and the output file. Okay, and assuming it will be executed within the same directory and working directory here. I would assume this will not work, but at least not in the first try. But let's try. Let's try. Let's make a serve. Okay. What did you do here? Spawned hook npx and so on. And this is output from the Tailwind builder. Okay. Okay. Did this work? So let's see. Let's have. We can close this one. We had this. Maybe do a shadow inner instead. So just to see. No, main rs, or maybe give this one a class shadow inner. Maybe. And now let's see. No shadow inner as far as I can see, but I don't know how this should look. So maybe let's do a text 3XL here instead. Okay. So this did it now kind of do double building or something like this. Maybe just because it updated more quickly than I was typing the thing, but it seems to work. So let's take something that we haven't before, like colors, for example. There is definitely some color stuff, I know. So okay, Tailwind includes yeah. How can I, for example, use this color here? Is this now the class or what? No, it's the color code. Okay, I don't want the... Wait, what? Customization. No, I want to use colors. Customization, colors, text color. Okay. Text. Okay, so can I do text? What was it called? Orange 600 or something like that? Oh, okay. So it definitely works. It rebuilds now our Tailwind CSS based on the given information. Yeah, cool. That's really nice. So yeah, and here it is, our class that we are now using, all the classes that we are using. Okay, I like that. Okay, so yeah, it took us nearly an hour, I guess, to set up all that stuff, but I think this is a real nice outcome of this session. We now have a working Yew and Tailwind CSS setup. So I guess this is it for now, and we will go on with it in the next session, and then start creating our UI on this basis, and we'll play around with it and write more Yew code and a little bit more Tailwind CSS rules, and yeah, that was fun. So now we have a setup for our UI that we will create then in the next sessions, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I will in the future have more time to do those videos again, because they are fun, and I'm coding anyways in the meantime, but in the last time I didn't have that much time to do hobby projects or free time projects, because there wasn't that much free time. But now there will hopefully be a little bit more again, and therefore I will do those sessions again more often, and I hope to come back to the raytracer at one point as well. So yeah, please leave a thumbs up if you liked this video, and please subscribe and hit the bell to have all the notifications once a new video is up, if you are interested in that. And yeah, leave a comment if there are any questions, or if you want to talk to me. Just leave a comment below the video. I will try to get back to it. Thanks for watching again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!